like an idea doesn't become physical until you write it down or you speak it into existence, and that kind of comes back to like the whole manifestation thing. But when it comes to music, I think that, you can have ideas and things like that, but sometimes those things are meant to be shared, I've gotten stuck on so many songs. Whenever I've brought those songs to a band situation or to just with another musician there, especially people that I don't normally play with, those songs will find their true form and actually it's like, oh, this is what this song was meant to be.
Hi, my name is Nick Di Gregorio. Welcome to the Tiny Vinyl Sessions. The Tiny Vinyl Sessions is a collaboration between me, the host, and other musicians around Australia. Right now I'm focused on my local scene, which is in Airlie Beach, Whitsundays, Queensland. Each session has 3 tracks performed live at a local business, and we then chat about the process and chat about what it's like being a musician at the moment in the current state. Think of it like a snapshot of the artist in this time and place. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I've been working really hard behind the scenes to make sure these are coming out pretty regularly. So as some of you know, I've got my second little bub who's coming in about 3 weeks and is going to impact how many sessions I can get done in April. So I'm going to be spacing out the next few sessions probably about 3 to 4 weeks apart, as opposed to the 2-week schedule that I've been aiming for. A little issue I'm running into with these sessions is something really unsexy, which is the storage space required for these sessions. I've been storing these on hard drives that I bought, but they quickly run out. Each session is about 500 gigabytes to 700 gigabytes. Those are immediately taken. Basically, I'm about 2 sessions away from not being able to store any more space. So to get the space needed, I need about $700 to $1,000 of capital I do not have. So if you are feeling generous and would like to donate to keep these sessions alive, you can do that at tinyvinylcollective.com, which is the direct place to support, or I've started a Patreon. The other ways you can help is actually just spread the word. I'm trying to get more local businesses involved, more artists that would be interested in doing these. I want to start including people that are passing through the area as well. And I'm going to be also setting up some sessions further away. Today I got to play with my friend Dylan Hammond, and we got to chat about a lot of stuff. He's been here for a long time. He's a proper alien. He's one of the main reasons I'm living up here. He got in touch with me when I'd moved back to Melbourne after a brief stint and offered me a position to help him set up Hamilton Island for Total Entertainment. We shot this at Total Entertainment headquarters, and I hope you enjoy the session with Dylan Hammond. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you jumping on and doing all the things.
I'm excited, man. It's a great thing what you're doing.
How'd you feel about your session, like your tracks in the session?
I felt very good about them. Yeah. It was fun. Little bit of red, what's it called? Red light syndrome.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not much really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty comfortable in the recording realm. But
we're kind of working through that in rehearsals, right? Where you're like, it's going to be what it's going to be, and you're okay with that.
Yeah.
But you said it's contrasting quite hard to how you would have thought maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably just an age thing, really. Like, not so much a recording experience thing.
Yeah.
But more of a life experience where it's just like, I don't really care what people think about me,
Yeah.
I'd say probably this part of it would be more more nerve-wracking, I guess. Not that I'm really nervous. I don't feel nervous. But yeah, I think give us 5 minutes and I'll be completely chilled out, whereas now it's just like, how's this going to start? How are we going to, but I'll leave that to you because you're the...
My name's
Dylan. I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It's strange because you have so much conversation and we know each other quite well. So it's not, you turn on a camera and you're like, now we must talk about things.
About stuff, yeah.
And you're like, what do we address? What do we talk about?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess we just see where it goes because, we never have any trouble chatting.
I actually, for this one, I was pretty happy because it's the first time someone's chatted before the tracks.
Okay.
So it actually hasn't happened before. I've usually gone to ask people about the tracks after, but it hasn't felt like it felt like too removed from the track. So it was actually something that I might do moving forward, which is what you did on the thing. And it's kind of fun watching the process, and even talking about a pancake today. We talked about pancakes a lot, which is like that first take.
I like the pancake because it just takes away any pressure, you know? So it's just like, all right, this is just the take to get all the mistakes out.
The pancake that you make when you're making a batch of pancakes, and it's usually the shit one, and usually the chef gets to eat it, you know? It's not for consumption. It's not
for anyone, yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's like horrendous, but sometimes it's the most tasty as well, so...
True.
Yeah, it's the key to me.
It's always important to press record.
Yeah, always. We never do a full take without actually having press record or having people filming, because that's, you don't want to get it and be like, that was such a good take.
The one, yeah. But it takes away the nervous, like straight away it takes away any nervous energy because you don't have that pressure. And then you've also, after that take, you've already kind of like blown the cobwebs out, or you know, made yourself feel comfortable. So then the second take kind of feels more comfortable by proxy anyway, because you've already done it and you're like, okay, I feel good.
Yeah, exactly. And you're surprised that we did 4 takes, you know, of each tune.
Yeah.
I said that that's what the average has been so far. And it's like, oh yeah, we can definitely do it in that. But sometimes you're sitting there at take 3 being like, we're getting this right. Like, this is good, or this is and the little moments are tricky.
Well, I liked that talking about the song, you know, before the song, or we did it before the song. But the other thing was, I don't know if I should have read all the documentation that you sent me, because I was like, are we going to talk? Is the talking format in between the songs, or then we're going to do it after?
Yeah.
But that's just me and my style of preparation.
International man of mystery. That's what.
Even to me. Even to me.
You like to surprise yourself before you.
Yeah, well, I kind of find value in that as well, is being spontaneous. Although that has changed over the years as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in my early days, I probably would have just turned up going, "What's this thing called?" You know, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
To a degree, that's definitely gotten me, you know, like some great results creatively. I think in this industry, it's kind of a bit more acceptable.
Yeah. Because
there's something about the spontaneity that that fuels the creative process. So for me, I kind of just lived that way.
Yeah.
You know, like I kind of just went, well, if I can do it on stage, or I can do it in the studio, or whatever, I can do it in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where you realize that you kind of need also to have a bit of structure and preparation. Yeah. And also, you know, couple it with that energy as well, like to get the best out of things.
Do you want to say anything about it? Like, as in like what it is, what the
song? So it's like a classic unrequited love song. And it's probably, it'd have to be 15 years old at least.
Oh, wow.
Maybe longer. Yeah, wrote it on piano, one of those ones where the melody came first and then I figured out the chords afterwards. But it was always unfinished until we did these sessions.
Yeah.
So like, it's released on Spotify. It's called Questions. But it was always unfinished until we started working on it. So now I kind of consider it finished.
Yeah, well, we kind of closed that open loop, right?
Yeah, it was always open.
Yeah.
The song, I can't even remember if the track on Spotify fades out or not. I don't listen to my own stuff, it's been that long.
I checked it out. It does fade out.
It fades out?
It fades out.
Yeah. Well, classic sign of an unfinished song is it fades out. So
it's an artistic preference. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, or a means to an end.
Yeah.
So this is Questions. It's an old song and one of my favourites. Always been a favourite of mine. Just because it was one of those ones that spewed out that was not really meant to be written. It just was coming, and I just had to let it come out kind of thing.
Are you ready for
Yeah.
your bad pancake? Sorry.
Was that,
That was
me or you?
That was me.
Oh. Right. Talk to me. I want something more. Oh, are you now? I thought I knew you. Why won't you talk to me? I want something more. Sometimes I think about what we got up to. So close before. I want you to talk to me. I want something more. I think that one.
Yeah.
That one was it.
I was pretty happy with that. How'd you feel?
Yeah, good.
On the fence?
Good.
Like,
overall, good. A couple of things, It's never going to be perfect,
that was good though.
but it was nice.
I felt that one a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last two were definitely the pick of the
Yeah.
of the things.
Nice.
Things, I think. Yeah.
But I've seen it work you run a business called Total Entertainment, and it's your business. How long have you been in it for? Because I know that you bought it off someone name-wise.
Yeah. So, no, I bought the business in 2014, the very beginning of 2014. So it's been 12 years, and I marked that on my first daughter's birthday because I essentially bought the business when Willow was on the way. As a kind of like security, it was kind of like, what if I break my hand, or what if I lose my voice, or what if I can't play music to pay the bills anymore? I need to do something grown up and get a real job, kind of thing.
It's such a scary thing. That's exactly it's not exactly what I'm going through, but I remember asking you about this even before kids were coming into my life at all, like when we went over to Hamo for that first time, and we were just having lunch and stuff, and I kind of remember asking you about and this came up, I don't know how exactly it came up, but I remember you saying that, and I think about it a lot now, because like when I think about security, and it's not always the clearest when you're, I don't know if it's just being a musician, but it's being self-employed and having that thing be based on something that is easily broken, like a hand or a finger, or you lose your voice, you do a bad gig, your reputation gets ruined, whatever. Like there's so many things to it. Well,
when it comes to health and your physicality, like you might not even, it's not like even you have to lose your hand to, but you could break a finger, or you could sprain a finger, and you might have 20 gigs booked for that month, and you can't play those 20 gigs. Where's the rent coming from, kind of thing.
Exactly.
That was kind of the motivation, but it was also a little bit of it was a bit of timing, good timing as well, because the business was for sale, and it was a small agency type thing. It was
more AV at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was AV, and it was like corporate equipment, like kind of like they had like conference telephones, projectors, PA systems. They had lighting and drum kits and amplifiers, a little bit of backline, a little bit of AV stuff, a bit of conferencing equipment. So they were doing like small conferencing events and things at some local conferencing venues on the mainland. A little bit of stuff on the islands. I think they did a little bit on Daydream Island and stuff, but essentially it was kind of like it was like a way of capturing the corporate and the wedding market, having that agency style, front where you could, both the guys were musicians. It was owned by one guy, but another guy,
Marcus, right?
Marcus was sort of a silent partner, I guess. I don't know. Marcus probably watched this and go like, "What are you talking about?" But it was Neil. It was Neil Smith. It was his business. And Marcus was heavily involved. He was in a duo with Neil, and
the lines blur a little bit when you're like, the main person doing the music, and then you're a part of the business. But it's like it can get confusing, especially in musician land, where you're like, I'm self-employed, but like especially in my early days back when I came back up here, I was mainly just doing TE stuff. So it's like I'm a contractor, but I'm with TE mainly. So does it make me a TE? Like your brain goes, am I self-employed or am I a contract? Anyway, it can get confusing.
It's funny because, just before we were rolling, like you were saying like, when we were talking about it's kind of the old days or even stuff now, and you're going like, because we blah blah blah, we did this. So there's still this sense of like you're part of TE, which you are in my eyes as well, because like those early days on Hamo were like forged by your presence on the island, and so I'm forever grateful for that.
Oh no, but it was an amazing opportunity at the time as well. Like it wasn't like I was like, I really want to talk about the way that you are a interesting man of mystery, because like I remember like trying to meet you initially was, and I think this is a common thing for the musos that come into the area. I remember not knowing about Total Entertainment, hearing there was a company here, because I've already worked with lots of agencies in the past, like London, Melbourne, blah blah blah. I just know how those kind of hierarchical things work. I've heard of Total Entertainment is around. And then, you do the normal contractor thing, and I started playing at Sorrento's like during when COVID started lifting. And then you know, your reputation starts getting around and blah, blah, blah. And then I remember filling in for a Total Entertainment gig. And then I always learn about the company through, like, you know, invoicing. It's like, oh, you invoice this person, you do this. And you start learning about the broader team and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, who's Dylan? Like, who's this Dylan person? And I remember messaging you. And I understand this problem much more now, having been a part of TE and on the inside of a bigger company, that I absolutely hated being someone that musicians contact all the time. I didn't find the sycophancy of people approaching me was genuine or not, you know, and I found it really hard. So I'd have to actually look back at our messages, but I'd be curious about what I said, but it was really hard to get in contact with you.
Yeah. That hasn't changed.
That hasn't changed. No. Because the way we did meet was, I remember going, you're running an open mic night. And I was like, I've got to go down just to see, because it was actually my last 2 weeks in Airlie before I moved back to Melbourne.
I remember, yeah.
And I was like, I've got to go meet this Dylan person properly without him being on a gig. Because I think I met you once just outside of KC's when you were doing a gig. And I was like, oh, that sounds really good. Like, I want to know. And I think I was curious about some gear questions or whatever. And then I went to the open mic night. I remember what we played. We played like a jazz song, and then you accompanied me on like a looper, and it was like a good vibe.
Yeah.
And then we just got chatting and had a really amazing conversation that night. Yeah. Really connected.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that night actually, because it was like we had the jam and we'd been trying to catch up. I mean, like you'd been sending me messages and I'd been like, yeah. Or, you know, we just hadn't managed to connect. But I'd heard about you as well. I remember I'd heard your name around because you were playing a lot of Breeze Bar and like Sorrento's and things like that. And everyone was like, oh, have you heard of Nick Di Gregorio? Like, he's great.
He's around.
You know, and like I remember Aaron Saxon said to me as well, like, if you've seen Nick play, like he's, you know, and I was like,
oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Well, you know, if Aaron says so, then of course.
Yeah, it's a good ticket for approval.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm keen to hear this guy play. And then I remember you walked into that jam night and I was like, oh, Nick, oh, man, come on. And then and we had that great jam. And then at the end of the night, like, you helped me pack up and stuff. And then I think I dropped you home. Yeah. And we were just like, blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, dude, you were like, dude, I've got to catch a plane in the morning or something. Like, it'd be so good to meet you. Such a great catch up. And it was like, man, like, please stay in touch. Let's, you know, connect and whatever. And then it was, did you come up again after that? Or so was it?
It was like, you mentioned that, like, you know, about the islands. I don't know how much you want to talk about it in general. Like, I don't want to divulge any of your things you don't want to divulge.
No. I'm happy to talk about.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't care, guys.
I don't care. But yeah, you're mentioning that, you know, you had your eye on this thing, like basically becoming the supplier to the islands, right? And I remember being like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I could definitely do that. Like, I have heaps of experience on cruise ships and, you know. And then I went back to Melbourne for 6 months or 3 months. And then I remember calling you being like, hey, man, I wonder, just as a curiosity, before I get too deep into the Melbourne scene and start building a network, and then is that opportunity still there? And you're kind of like, Man of Mystery was like, yeah, I think it is. It's funny that you call. This is the perfect time.
It was because we were doing the entertainment on Hamo already. Like, I'd been doing my own solo stuff there before I even started Total Entertainment.
For a long time, right?
Yeah.
You've been going back and forth for like, what, 10
Oh,
months?
more, probably 15 years. Like, when I first got here, I kind of stumbled into Airlie Beach and I had the perfect contacts. Like, it was Michael Caruana was like, you should go up to Airlie Beach, you would kill it, right? And I was always looking for somewhere to go in between snow seasons, because I was doing snow season in Falls Creek, and then the summer times was my quiet time. And I went to the Great Ocean Road for a couple of summers, and so I was always looking for somewhere to go in the summertime. And one winter, it must have been 2010 or 2011, something like that. And I caught up with Michael in the snow, because they go up there quite a bit too. And Michael was like, you should go to Airlie Beach. And I was like, oh, man, that sounds amazing. So
where?
He
What?
goes, yeah, I was like, had never even heard of it. And and he goes, well, I could give you some contacts. And he gave me Trev Green, Patch Brown, who was booking Beaches at the time, and then Isaac Andre, who was booking Magnums at the time. So it was Magnums, Beaches, Paddy's that I'd been given the contacts for. And he'd, messaged ahead saying, book this guy, he's great. That's everyone just went, well, Michael says so, then we'll book him without even knowing or hearing him. So, Trev looked after me massively. Trev was amazing in this area.
He looks after all of us.
He really Trev's unreal for this, like he's a champion for the music scene.
Yeah, exactly.
In Whitsundays, and has been for so many years.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trev gave me a lot of gigs. I was booked out for like 3 months before I even arrived.
That's amazing. A few people have experienced that. Like now you're rolled into those people that do help musicians when they get here. Like Ferg was saying on his, he was stressing about gigs, but he knew he had stints with Total Entertainment, so he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it helps when you've got someone on the inside. It's a big community here, so everyone helps each other out, which is amazing. But as soon as I got here, I was kind of like, it was like Paddy's, Beaches, Magnums.
Yeah.
And I did a summer, and then I went back and did a winter. I came up and did another summer, another winter.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and then we me and the kid's mum, we started producing babies. And Willow came along 2014, and it was like, okay, I need to do something here.
Yep.
Towards the end of that pregnancy was like Neil was put his business up for sale. And I was like, it's a booking agency, it's got equipment, I've got AV experience, live sound, studio sound engineering, stuff like that. So it just suited me to a T, and I was like, I think this is my business.
Yeah, totally.
And I didn't have the money. I borrowed the money, off a friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
And, and paid him back, Jarrah Kurth, who part of Sun Salute, one of my best mates. I really feel called to do this, that this is the right thing. And it really wasn't something I'd ever thought of doing.
Yeah.
I had hired equipment in the past down in the snow and things like that, so sort of knew the value of hiring equipment and things. But also with the islands, getting back to Hamo.
Oh, yeah.
What we started talking about was one of the contacts was that I met through Trev and these other guys, Patch and stuff, was Brad Henstock, another guy who is great for the music industry around here. He was on Hamo at the time, and so he gave me a bunch of gigs on Hamo. This was, back in 2011 or whatever that year was. And that's how I ended up there. And then these couple of years later, when I started Total Entertainment, I was going over as Dylan, but we were,
representing yourself.
I was representing myself, and things were growing. And so, the invoicing and everything that was going to Hamo was Total Entertainment. So they were starting to get to know the name and things like that. And then the lady who was booking the entertainment on Hamo was moving to Spain. And so she said to me, she'd known me now for a few years, and was like, I'm moving on. There's an opportunity here for someone to pick up the entertainment contract. I think you should go for it.
Yeah.
And so I put in a proposal, and I was successful, and I got the contract.
That's so good, yeah.
Yeah, so that was before we'd met. That was years before we met. So we had the contract on Hamo for a couple of years. We were doing bits and pieces on Heyman. We'd done bits and pieces on Daydream. So it was like we always had one, sometimes two of the islands, but was like sort of hit and miss. And
the hard thing about working with businesses is often they change management, and management wants to change things, and it almost doesn't matter how good a contract you make. It is really hard to maintain those. You really have to keep the next person who comes in happy, and that is harder than people think it is. And there's a lot of people managing from your end that even I've seen on the on the inside, man, it's like, it's pretty tough.
Sometimes that is a big part of it, but actually I'm now seeing that as an advantage.
Yeah.
Because we've refined our systems and our processes so much now that we're kind of, like, we're so easy to deal with from the perspective of the islands and the entertainment people there. Like Hamo, for example, they used to do all of their own stuff. And then, Deb Gomez, she did the entertainment. Then we came in. One of the other challenges is, apart from management changes, is, we get cyclones here. You get big weather events and things can shut down. And that for us was a big reason why we lost the Hamo contract in the first place.
Was it 2016 one? No.
2016 it was. Yeah. Cyclone Debbie. Yeah. Could have been 2017. I've heard people say. I always had it in my head that it was 2016. Yeah. But yeah, we had the contract for a little while. It was maybe a year, maybe not even a year. And we were rolling along. So we had the contract, and there was a couple of resident musicians that were living on the island, which we had on our roster.
Yeah.
But once the cyclone hit, it just shut everything down, right?
Yeah.
So then when it kind of everything was back online, a couple of weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, once they'd kind of reopened everything, they didn't have that many gigs, and they didn't really need an agency to manage those. They were just giving them to the guys that were living on the island. So then the guys that were living on the island, they were getting maybe 1 or 2 gigs a week between two of them.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like 12 gigs a week.
Yeah.
Between those guys and some other people flying in and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was when they were like, hey, look, sorry guys, we don't need you anymore because we've just got our local guys and they can manage it on the ground.
Yeah.
And then that built up and then those guys were managing it.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, Hamilton Island took it back internally, managing it internally.
Yeah.
Then they were just getting musicians in, as kind of like we're doing now.
Yeah.
But in a more probably less organized way.
Yeah. Which is the thing that is really useful for having an entertainment agency run it, is because like that manager's not dealing with individual musicians and having to answer a million questions, the same thing over and over again. There's no systems in place. Like there's a lot of great musicians that were going over there, and like they're still a part of the roster if they kind of want to be, but they're all, doing their own thing mostly. But they would talk about like the renegadeness of it, going over with their own gear in a van and, having to set up these massive things. And, it was bit more hectic.
Yeah. And I mean, there's like the different ways in which people do things as well. Like even just the simple thing of invoicing.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly, if we have new people come on board, we're like, hey, you didn't write your ABN on your thing. You have to reissue the thing. And so even in accounts, it's a lot easier for a resort to have one invoice every week, for 20-25 gigs a week, which is Hamo's doing, and minimum 22 at the moment.
Oh shit. Okay. That's way more than last time I checked.
I mean, I went from 0. I remember you were there when there was no gigs. But now
when I left, it was about 12.
Yeah. So it was that for a while. And then it's been up and up and up, and now there's 5 DJ gigs a week as well. 6 DJ gigs. 6.
Yeah.
Between 16 and 18 live gigs.
Oh, yeah, which is great.
And then there's 6 DJ gigs a week. Yeah. So it's between 22 and 24 gigs a week.
It's a lot. It's a lot for management, like, of those gigs, because it's not like a clear, easy walk around island. So it is a lot of
yeah, well, I mean, extra. They've added venues now. There's a lot of work gone into the island.
Yeah, look, it's looking good though. Like Sundays is like really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. They've done some amazing things, and they're ramping up their entertainment.
Oh, cool.
Essentially, they're looking after us, and we're looking after them. Like, like they couldn't do what they're doing without us, really, and we couldn't sustain the amount of work that we are without. Yeah, them seeing the value in live music for their venues. It was interesting because the way that you and I really developed our relationship was that phone call where it was like, hey man, I think I need you now, you know, like something's happened. So it was interesting because COVID hit. Yeah. And that was the catalyst for me to go, I know what to do here. Because
that was it. Yeah. That's right.
It was the fact that we had lost the contract first because of the cyclone shutting the island down, that I realized, okay, whoever's on the island is going to get the gigs.
It's like your superpower, the way I see it is, it's like, I don't, you're more into the idea of manifestation in like that way than I would be, but I saw it as a logistical manifestation. It wasn't like you're just like, oh, it would be nice if this happened. You're like, oh, this is the dream. And then I've actually going to take quite big risks and like calculated risks. Like it wasn't like you're ever doing it willy-nilly, but I've seen you take risks that I haven't seen other people ever take. Even like, you know, people talk a lot about doing shit and often it doesn't happen. But with you, like even in Melbourne, it was like, hey man, am I coming up? And then like I wouldn't hear anything because there's so much that goes on between. You're just waiting for them to get back to you, and you put in so much effort to find a place on the island to have the house.
I think at the time that was the thing that was holding everything up, was getting the lease approved and everything like that. So because you were there, I brought you up.
Yeah, and you gave me a stipend for like, which is like a weekly allowance just to have me be there. Yeah, essentially, which is when I think about that as a solo person, entrepreneur, investing in, like, this is a version of that is like what I'm doing with this podcast is like I'm putting a lot investing, but it's still not as much. It's still not as high as going, I'm going to rent a house, pay a musician weekly, and have an unknown end to that.
Like an unknown date of when things will begin, because it hadn't started, and so it was, I think, about 2 months in the end. I was forking out for rent, and we had we had a few, you know, stints within that, but it was always around the holiday. So it was like, I remember there was a few musicians that came on, were doing their like stints that they had booked already, and then I was basically at poolside 5 days a week, probably about 6 to 8 weeks in. Like that's when it started going, okay, we're going to start. Yeah. And the contract still wasn't, there was no contract in place. No. There still wasn't there wasn't a contract for a good 6 months after that you started playing regular gigs.
Which is crazy.
It was like almost 2 months of nothing. And then it was like they had a staff event and they were like, hey, is that? Because I just kept emailing them saying, we've got a musician on the island. So if you're going to start, you know, it was, I did a corporate gig over there. And this is how before I even got you on there, this is how I found out about it, because it was like the first corporate gig that happened after they'd opened the island again. Yeah. And I was having breakfast at the Reef View after the corporate gig. And I had talked to the staff member and I was like, hey, what's the music scene like here on Hamo? Like, is there any music there? Like, there's no music. There's no musicians on the island. It's so boring, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I know what to do. And so then I was like, I'm going to rent a place and I'm going to put a musician in that apartment. And then when those gigs come, which inevitably they will, because I know that this island needs...
Well, it's a resort. It needs entertainment.
Yeah. They need a minimum 5, you know, they were doing 11, 12 gigs a week. Yeah. And I knew that because I was managing it, right? So I was like, it will get back to that point, you know, it will. And so I was like, this is the exact same scenario, except last time I wasn't on the island. Yeah. So now I'm being given another chance to get this contract back.
But it wasn't presented to you. That's the thing. That's the manifestingness that I've seen. Like, is like, you were like, this isn't a guarantee. No one's actually asking for this, but I'm going to put it in place. Yeah. Am I a part? I was confused. I'm like, am I a part of this manifesting thing? Because I'm like, kind of in Melbourne, being like, I hope this is going ahead, because I've just like cancelled my rental and I'm packing up all my shit. Like,
I remember saying to you as well, I was like, don't worry, man. I'll pay you. Don't worry. Like, there might not be any gigs for a while, but I promise I'll pay you. You know.
Yeah. And I remember getting like the manifesting of that, and I remember you saying, this would be the goal. And then I worked closely with you and the team even before you had more of a team. Like it was you, an accountant, and Alana. Was it Alana? Aliana. That's it.
Yeah.
I was in connection with them. Like you never know how big the team is. It could be like submerged.
Yeah.
Like
no, I
10
mean,
other
it's
people.
always been a small team.
Yeah. But
Because, it really doesn't take that many people to manage. Here's me thinking about it and going, poor Caitlin down there managing everything she's managing. But to me, I've always seen that it's more in the systems than it is in the size of the team.
yeah.
You know, like if the system's scalable, then it should be easy to manage.
Yeah.
And as long as, I mean, I'm in the business of details, of keep making sure everyone has the details to know where they have to be, what time, what to dress, you know, how to dress, what to play.
Yeah.
All of that sort of stuff, and to make sure the right people are in place.
Yeah.
And to me, that's relatively easy. The hardest part is finding the people.
Yeah.
But giving them the details, knowing, you know, because it's all written down.
Take care of all the details so you're not left wondering.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying we're perfect. You know, we've definitely had to refine things over the years, and we haven't always been on top of the, you know, the game. It's always been really important to me, and me personally, like this is why I'm so difficult to get a hold of in this business, is because I'm not the one that should be doing these bookings and things like that, because I'm the worst.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm the worst at keeping track of my stuff, you know.
But you were really smart in the way that you set it up, because I saw it immediately. I'm like, he's, you know, like man of mystery, but you've created guardrails around yourself and your business to be like, well, account is being sorted by account, bookings is being sorted by a booking agent. I know that I'm not good at these things, and therefore I'm putting these guardrails in place.
Yeah.
That's what I've always seen, is like that's the key to you and your business and your entrepreneurial style.
It took me a little while. Like, I mean, if you talk to Chris Boroff, you'll know that, like, we went through a period where it was like we were trying to handle everything, you know, like, and I, before I even got Chris involved, I was doing that myself, you know, and with Jazz as well. In the early stages, like, just managing everything myself, accounting, you know, dealing with brides, dealing with coordinators, setting up stages, playing the gigs, packing it down, doing the invoicing, you know, like social media, websites, you know, like emails, like phone calls, putting out fires, man. And like, I got to a point of like where I am at now has come out of necessity and come out of experience, because I didn't know that delegating to someone that is a lot better with details was going to be better. I just thought if I pay someone to do that, that's money coming out of my pocket, you know. So everything I've kind of learned, probably apart from the manifestation side of things, that all kind of comes pretty naturally to me. But the business side of things has been very much like learn by doing, and learn from mistakes, because I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and that's why I've you know, come to a place where I am, and I still make mistakes, but I make sure that I don't make them again, you know, again and again and again. So like, you know, it's just it's one of those things. I never saw myself as a business person, and I still don't really.
You're a musician at heart, and I know that you are always been for musicians, like, and that's the thing that is different from a lot of companies that I've dealt with in other places. Like, you're really much tacked on to a bigger, like, corporate-y events thing, and this is like solely about entertainment, and you being a musician first, and you're not just like, you know, this person towering above people being like, no, you know what, you've done the gig, you've done all the gigs and grown up in that.
I mean, I've, you know, like, and like I say, like, I've been that guy that, you know, turns up to a gig with a milk crate full of spaghetti leads, you know what I mean, like completely unorganized and disheveled, and I've had that feedback before, like, hey, you got to wear shoes, and I've got to wear shoes, you know, hey, you can't wear singlets, you know, okay, like, you know, it's like, it's just over the years, it's not like I've always known to just wear a shirt and shave and, you know, look presentable, and put your invoice in on time, or, you know, like those kinds of things have all come from experience. And it's funny because I do in some ways get a sense that there are people out there, musicians in the community, that feel like, oh, Dylan Hammond, oh, you know, total entertainment company, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like those people, you know, like you know, and you know, I'm fine with it. You know, it is what it is. I'm in the position I'm in, and that's okay. I don't mind if people think that way. Like I said, I don't mind how people think or perceive me at all, you know, because it's not my business.
To me, that's been interesting, you know, like, because you go, I know from dealing with you for 2 years, like talking to you nearly every day for when I was on Hamo, like that was 1.5 to 2 years, because I actually was doing the bookings for the islands after I left, and I felt a natural cadence to when I was like, okay, I need to like pass this off because it's not appropriate for me to be doing this anymore. And it was like, we've always just had a good relationship in being very open and honest with each other, but I've never really had that experience with other agents or other things, because you really do understand and you're thinking ahead anyway. It's not like you're like, I need to like hold these people really tightly so that they can't grow, because you're not interested. Like, you've always been interested in my personal well-being, you know?
Yeah.
And that's always something that I've always appreciated.
Well, I spoke about how people have certain perceptions, but it's like that in any realm. Like, people have their own perceptions of you and me, and you know, like whoever it is. Yeah. There's always people out there that think you are perhaps something you're not, or that they build you up to be something that really isn't. You know, like, and I don't know what it is. This is more of a spiritual subject where it's like, you know, maybe that's an insecurity in that person, or they're just, you know, creating.
You're projecting your thing. You're projecting your like, oh, this person doesn't answer me, so therefore they're thinking I'm not worth their time or something. But that's not. And this is what I was going to get to, is I've noticed, obviously, as a new parent, I don't have space for a lot more things than people think I do. Like, I've actually, it's not like I've taken a thing out of your book, but I've actually just lost communication with everyone since having a family. I've dropped relationships in an accidental way that like, I don't know if I have no idea of the perception of what that looks like on the outside. It might look like horrendous to people. But knowing, it's kind of like, I really care about the thing. Like, I care about music. I care about, obviously I need to care about work, and I need to care about my relationship with my immediate family when you've got like a young family. And I know what it's like to have musicians just hitting me up being like, hey man, let's grab a coffee. And I'm like, this is when I was working for you, because obviously when you're in a position of that agency work, people want to be nice to you because they want to, like, I don't think it's in any mean or nefarious way necessarily. Some people can, but it is like, they just want to break the ice. They want to introduce themselves. They want to do this. And I found, because if you do a Facebook post or anything post and you get I still get emails from like a post that we did 2-3 years ago inquiring about this thing. They're like, seen it, and it's like, don't message me, like, don't like. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, I don't know if these people are why these people are contacting me, and I would like them to stop. And I was like, I'd rather you not ask. Like, start with the message of what you actually want, and not start with like, hey man, I really like this, I really like your thing, and I really like this. And I just found it a bit like sickening, because it felt really fake to me. And you know, they're probably just doing like a nice warm introduction, but for me, I'm getting them like 3 times a week, 4 times a week from people, and I was just like, ugh, like, it gave me the irk. And some of those people were genuine, and some of those people are my friends now, like people that we did end up working with and stuff. And they still message me, and that's nice. But like other people, I was like, as soon as I was like, I'm not with them anymore. Didn't hear from them again, and I'm really grateful that I don't. So when I put myself in a position that you're in, which is like that man of mystery situation, I go, it would be a lot having people reach out to me all the time. I don't know if you're even aware of it or if that's with that.
Yeah, but I mean, I also, it's almost, I'm not going to say it's it sort of is purposeful in a way, putting boundaries up, communication boundaries, I mean.
Yeah.
Because even if you kind of, like, I'm very protective of my energy, and I'm very protective of my family's energy, and like my priority is my family. And you'll know, you know, that you know, when you just don't have time or energy to spare for anything else, you have to conserve that energy for the people that you love.
Yeah.
And for me, I was at a stage where you know, I was trying to manage this business by myself, doing all the things I listed before, you know, everything. And then, but I've also got 2 kids to worry about, you know, and a wife, and, you know, like a property, and like, you know, friends, and, you know, like my mum and my sisters, and, you know, like there's this whole community of people out there that really, really matter to me. And I didn't have energy for them, you know? So, you know, I've had to flip that over the years, where it's like, sorry guys, I know you feel like I'm not paying attention to you, and I know you feel like your needs aren't being met by me in whatever way.
Yeah.
But my kids feel like their needs are being met, and my partner feels like their needs are being met, and my house is, you know, taken care of, and my business is taken care of. Because I have so much going on, you know, like, and you know, I'm not like, it's not like I'm running 5 companies and, you know, like overseas accounts, blah blah blah, or anything like that, but it's enough to just you know, function in this society. Everyone can relate to that, you know. It's enough to just put food on the table, keep the roof above our heads, and but also to be present for my kids. That's my number one priority, and has been since they were born. Everything takes a back seat, and if I find that I can't that I don't have enough energy for them, then to me, the outside world doesn't deserve an explanation.
No, it doesn't.
It just is the way it is, and I'm sorry, and you can feel however you want to feel, and I don't resent those feelings. I'm not affected by those feelings, because I've learned how to protect my energy, because I need to, because I have these people to worry about.
I really want to acknowledge that I really admire that, because I think that it's just so much to like care about your family, care about something that you're building, care about not even touching on, like, you know, any internal artistry that you want to put into the world, you know, the fact that you don't get breaks of the grind when you're kind of in this mentality, because you're really, as you're trying to build momentum, it's like you're not able to do that. And then, like, you know, a lot of us are just struggling to do gigs, you know, we're not thinking about broader things, like I'm trying to, but yeah, like the things that you're talking about, when it's like, what do I do for my kids when my hand breaks? What do I do for my kids when this? And then you build something that you do, and you're trying to nourish that and protect it and stuff, and keep its reputation good and kind of thing. So
which isn't always easy, you know, like, and again, like sometimes the reception. Oh, who's that? Oh, I know who that is. But what were we talking about?
But basically, like protecting your energy, relating to your family, like,
that's right.
And those things that I'm struggling with a bit now. Is like, I've seen you go through that, and I've always, since I started having a family, there's not a lot of examples for me of people that are doing things that we are in the industry with a family intact. So it's like, I kind of understand even another layer on top, which is like becoming, you know, extra mysterious as a human being is like, it's not about the perception that is gathered by that mystique, but it's like the protecting of the energy that you get.
And that's really, it's kind of like, it's not like I've tried to be a man of mystery. It's just
like
that
saying it.
I know and I'm happily take the title. It sounds super cool. But
you like international as well. I've been
I love that. I've been overseas a few times.
I've seen a plane.
Like I said, it doesn't bother me what people's perception of me is, and that's part of it as well. Like you kind of, in caring for the things that really matter, you also have to have the ability to not care about the things that don't matter. And you know, like, I've definitely had people over the years have perceptions of me. Maybe I didn't give them work, or maybe they messed up at a gig or something, and I was like, sorry, can't work with you, blah blah blah. Like I've definitely had people over the years like, spread the word, spread the negative word or whatever. Yeah, and that's fine. Like I've come to realize that when you especially deal with a lot of people, you're like I'm funneling a lot of work through my company to give you work and exactly. a bunch of people in this community, and not every single gig is going to go perfectly well, and sometimes people can turn their noses up at it, and that's fair enough, and a lot of the times it can be fair enough. Like I said, we're not perfect.
Well, I've definitely had gigs through TE where I'm sure I've gotten bad negative reviews for whatever reason. Like I remember one example is like I brought an electric guitar, like I played electric but they were like, I want an acoustic artist, and you're like, right.
Sometimes those details like that get missed, or something doesn't get passed on, or whatever it is. But like, there's a lot to manage, and there's a lot of details, even in just one gig. Yeah. So to be managing, like thousands a year,
and dealing with like clients, like high-end clients that you have to deal with, is like, it's another ball game, because you are dealing with like nitpicky, crazy people sometimes, and sometimes they're the best clients in the world as well. So you can have a balance of those, but often you're juggling all of those people at the same time. That's just the volume of it. That's what Caitlin do.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, I definitely deal with my fair share, because I mean, like, Caitlin's dealing with the events directly, which is great. I wouldn't want to be doing that anymore. I did that enough, and I'm glad that there's someone looking after it. But I mean, on another level, I'm always dealing with the problems. Yeah. Because it's like, if it goes to a point where Caitlin's like, sorry, that's too much for me, like, boom, it goes up to me and I have to deal with it, I shouldn't say that. I get to deal with it.
Yeah. You have the chosen problem of dealing with the problem that you've chosen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind dealing with issues. Like I'm quite good with people.
But I've never seen you get upset by any situation.
No.
Like, in my experience, I've never seen you get annoyed. I've seen you, maybe like get serious and be like, okay, we need to rein this in, or do this or do that, and we can't have this and we can't have that.
Yeah.
But I've never seen you, I've had events, people yell at me for no reason, like actually no reason, like, you're playing music and we asked you to play music, but I don't want you playing music right this second, like crazy nitpicky stuff. And people that are stressy probably shouldn't be in events management. Just as a whole, like, just if you're getting stressed by that job, like, don't go into that job. I mean, that's easier said than done. But anyway, I'm getting off that. My point is, I've never seen you get angry. I've seen you deal with problems, and I've seen you deal with them passively or actively, but in control.
I've never really had a problem with keeping my patience. Like being patient with people for me is kind of easy. Like, I think it's a tool. I think it's a tool, definitely a tool, to be able to accept what's happening. Yeah. Regardless of what the consequences might be. I've always been a big believer in, like, control what you can control, and usually you can't control what's happening externally. If someone doesn't turn up, or this happens or that happens, like, what can you do apart from control the way you react to it? Yeah. And if you fly off the handle, or you let your emotions get the better of you, then you're clouding your thought, and you really can't think properly. So you're going to make a bad decision on top of the problem, and this is something I've learned over the years, but it's something that I've always been able to do anyway, is just remain calm. Yeah. And I'm not really sure where that comes from. I think it's probably just maybe a genetic thing. My dad's pretty relaxed. Yeah. And my brother's pretty relaxed. And, we grew up in an environment where, like, I've got 3 sisters and a mum and stuff like that. Yeah. So sometimes things were like, but me and my brother we always just sitting back, just kind of like, this is kind of funny, like, should we have beer? Yeah. So I think it's pretty innate, but also I've seen the advantage of just remaining calm when things go wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's never really been a problem.
It is an attribute that is useful and served you well, but not has been necessarily practiced. Well, it has been practiced, but it came from a more of an innate place, right?
Yeah. It wasn't something that I was like, oh man, I yelled at that person, so I know not to do that next time. Or it's just accepting what is. Like I remember we were doing these, massive super yacht gigs a few years back.
Yeah,
and it was like. Yeah. We were in Melbourne, we were on the ship, the swell was crazy and the boat was going. We'd rented this tugboat. We had like racks of gear, right? So AV gear. They said, hey, so once we're done with the party, and the party, mind you, was like massive. It was like 6-piece band, DJ, stunt crew, bloody...
Wasn't there like a wine glass with a human in it?
Yeah, there was a giant martini glass with a contortionist.
Yeah, exactly.
Things like there was like a guy standing there with a white owl, like it was like just
like
things
David Blaine stuff, like just craziness.
Like, an opera singer and a fencing duo and things like this. So it was pretty crazy, but obviously it was still like quite a AV heavy event, and it's on a yacht. We had this tugboat, and one of the stipulations was. The crew and everyone, the owners and stuff, they get up quite early. So they want it to be like nothing ever happened. Like they want to have the party and then they want it to finish. And I think it finished at about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And they said they wake up quite early, 6 a.m. So they want it to be like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I was just in my mind going, oh my God. And I was like, sure, no problem. Like that was it's... perfect case of like just remain calm, It's like, how are we going to do this? Okay, no worries. Yep, we can do that. And they're like, good. So anyway, it was like 4 in.the and the swell was like and because the big boat has stabilizers, so it was sitting just flat in the water. But the tugboat was just getting
insane
by the swell, right? And we had to tie up to the super yacht, right? And we had these big, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the big sausage things that sit between the boat and
they're like
the other boats.
Protect the other boat from hitting.
Yeah. And these things on the super yacht were like as big as bigger than a person, right? They were massive. And they were sitting in between this super yacht and this tugboat. And so and I'm not naming any names here, no super yachts or tugboats or people were harmed in the making of this story. Tugboats going bouncing off these things, and we had this 100-kilo rack of gear, and it's amplifiers and compressors and all this stuff, effects units and whatnot. You know how much those things weigh, and like
scary.
We had so I was on the tugboat and I'm just like, all right, on my call there was a guy, there was 2 people on this side and 2 people on this side and me in the middle. So I was like, you guys push it, I'll pull it. And then when it gets to these 2 guys, they'll pull it and then I'll guide it on. But we had to wait until the tugboat was like this. And so we did it, and we had to do that a couple of times to get the couple of racks on. And again, classic, I'm only ever doing one trip, with gear. We had this tugboat just chocked to the brim, right? And the seas were and I just imagined this rack just going down into the water, just disappearing into the abyss. And at one point, and again, no one was harmed, but it was like this thing that, whatever it is, the protector thing, got it was like the tugboat went like this, and this thing just got shot out like this. And one of the catering ladies was standing there and got hit by it, in her shoulder, and it just toppled her over, and it was like, man, this is just
actually dangerous.
Is really irresponsible. We shouldn't be doing this.
This is like what they write in the safety training of bigger vessels. That'd be like, and so there was this incident that happened with musicians, and do not do this. And that's the story you're telling me is about.
It was raining until it started raining, and once we got all the stuff on, so we had to rush and get tarps all over everything, and it was everything that, I wouldn't say gone wrong. Nothing went wrong.
You did it though. It's also that thing of sometimes saying yes to things that you don't know if you can do, but just being like, we will get it done. Even when you're you know, contacting acts for those things. Like, how are you going to find a person with an owl? Like, do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. You don't know until you grow into those roles, what you're capable of as well, you know?
Yeah. And even saying yes to those jobs was similar to that whole Hamo thing, was just like, can you do this? And I'm not going to say no, because then I'm creating that reality for myself.
You're creating your own ceiling there.
I'm sure people can do it. And if people can do it, I'm a person, and I have other people around me that can also do stuff. And I'm sure we can, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All it is like, it's just exactly what we do, but on a larger scale.
Yeah.
You know, on a, well, not even necessarily a larger scale, but just a really logistically difficult and very sort of, I mean, it was just...
You have Caitlin searching for a week for someone with an owl. Do you know what I mean? You're going, how do we get someone... Okay, they want this. How do we do this? What can we do as a theme? But that's the way that you build up your, you know, Total Entertainment books, is by needing these people, then you realise what they do.
If we can remember at the start of it... So...
Oh, so no Waiting on a Miracle?
To come.
I can do that.
Waiting on a miracle.
I can do that.
It's been a long time.
It's actually more natural because I keep forgetting it, so I'm always thinking, remember it.
Yeah.
So I'll just like...
And I'll do the to come part with you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
But we'll just skip that very first Waiting on a Miracle.
I know what you mean. That's actually works.
And then everything else will be the same.
Yeah.
It feels too rushed to go into it.
Give it a bit of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. That's rolling. Oh. You're good. Is that one rolling? Yeah, they're all rolling. Take 3. Fui.
I can't do 4 fingers.
Fui.
That's 4.
Is that 4? We take 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Take 4. Oh, yeah. Bad pancake. Okay.
Good.
Best take 1.
Yeah.
So far.
And now
4.
After you, sir.
I've got my sweated titties.
Thanks for that. Excuse me, your life is now time to use all of your potential. It's easy for me to say, you gotta move in a new direction. As we move from the world that we knew in love, how do we know when we're gonna get there? It's been a long time waiting on a miracle. It's been a long time waiting on a miracle to come. Excuse me, what you wanna say? Make it clear and set your intention. Be gentle only with yourself. Let go the ways of old instead of changing motion. As we move from the world that we knew and loved, remember that place that you came from. It's been a long time waiting on a miracle. It's been a long time waiting on a miracle. It's been a long time waiting on a miracle. It's been a long time waiting on a miracle to come. It's been a long time, I'm waiting on a miracle to come.
This is just a quick interruption to say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We're really distracted these days. There's so much of our attention is being asked of us, and the fact that you're here giving this podcast your attention, it means the world to me. If you could leave a little emoji or a heart or something to just like show that you exist, that would be amazing. There's also a chance to say thank you to the Flying Arts Alliance, who have funded this podcast for 10 sessions to get a second camera angle. It's not always easy relying on the busy videographers in this area, and being able to have the safety of a second camera angle that I know is going to always be there has been a weight off my mind, and sessions have been saved because of that. If you would like to support these sessions, I would greatly appreciate it. Whether it's spreading word of mouth, financial support, you can find all the things at tinyvinylcollective.com. I've just started a Patreon, and you can go there and sign up if you're in the Patreon sphere of life. Anyway, back to the podcast, and thank you again. I appreciate your time and attention. Another kind of grateful thing is that you've actually sponsored half the town. You've sponsored like a lot of people. You end up giving them a job in music full time, which with a guaranteed 4-year kind of thing, and they help you do that. But that in that way, you've actually given us a lot of the people that I really care about in this town. And it's there's a big decision to sponsor people.
Well, the first guy that I sponsored was John Lillis, who's an Irish musician.
Yeah.
He was in Sun Salute in the very early days for a short time.
Yeah.
But he basically came to me with the idea. It sounded good to me because Airlie Beach, especially back in those days, this was probably, I think, would have been about 10, 11 years ago, something like that. So it was sort of in the first year that I had the business.
Yeah.
At the time, there wasn't that many like permanent musicians in Airlie Beach.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
There was, but there was like, you'd have like Matt Angel, for example, who would come for, 3 or 4 months, and then he'd be in WA for 6 months or wherever, somewhere else. Or Patch would come up for, the winter, and then he would be gone in the summer. And, it was very transient,
exactly.
And people would come and go. It is very transient. There's still a lot of transient musicians, but there's a lot more guys that are living here now, that are here permanently. Like you, for example, you've got a house, you've got your things going on, you've got a family, you're here.
Yeah.
I'm here, I've got my family, I've got my house, Louis got his, Simon as well. So like there's starting to become more of a community of guys, super talented guys that are, that I can rely on professionally to send to these caliber of gigs that we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that they're going to be there, So now these days, I don't really have a need to sponsor people.
Yeah.
Whereas in the beginning, it was more, it was more beneficial for Total Entertainment to have that. If I'm booking a wedding in 18 months' time, I want to know that there's a musician there that's going to be able to do it.
That's interesting.
When I sort of got to like Chris, so Chris was the second. And knowing, I've got someone that's going to be able to do some admin stuff. Chris was an all-rounder doing admin, doing AV stuff, playing gigs. He was like it was like having a second me.
I didn't know about the first one, actually.
John, not many people do. No, they think that Chris was the first one, but he was the second.
I thought it was. I keep thinking it was Patch, but I think Patch is Australian, and I just kept getting confused with John. So that was my bad. Chris, John, Ash,
and Simon.
To me, in a way, you've helped solidify those people in Airlie. Like that, they are some core people that exist here.
Those guys are in our first call go to. Like those are the first call go to guys.
And it's helpful because you like get to train them behind the scenes so they see what happens and then forge performers as well as reliable musicians.
I mean, those guys have their own, you know, like I can't take any responsibility for their, you know, like their professionalism and their skills and everything like that.
Oh, no. I just mean putting them into constant gigs. Like, and like when you're in that position, like you just learn from being on the job, really. Like, you learn, shit, like, I shouldn't have done that. I was late to that. I need to turn up earlier. Do this, do that. More comfortable on stage. Like, you realize that corporate gigs aren't much different to a normal gig. If anything, it's easier and like you can relax and less effort is more. Ooh, don't tell anyone.
We can cut that bit out.
Yeah.
With the sponsorship thing, it's kind of like those guys were like, hey, like I really want to stay in the country, you know, and it's kind of like, I can do that. But I mean, towards the end, it sort of didn't. After Chris, it didn't really make a lot of sense for TE, you know, like
totally.
It's not something I'm looking to do in the future because there's a lot of actually work and that goes into it on our end that doesn't really get seen. And for me, it's like it's that whole energy thing again. It's like what's really worth my energy. And I've said yes to a lot of things, and you know, I guess I've probably been a bit of a people pleaser in my life, and I'll do things for other people that aren't necessarily of benefit to myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think now I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm stopping all of that, you know, like I'm obviously happy to help people, and I'll always have that in me. But I'm more just focused on what's good for me.
That makes sense to me.
And the people around, you know, people close to me, you know.
And I just wanted to quickly touch on Sun Salute because that's a massive, obviously a massive project that...
It started, so it was started by Tane and Jarrah. They essentially started, so they did this, like we all met in the snowfields in Falls Creek many years before I even came up to Airlie Beach. We were jamming and stuff like that in the snowfields. And Jarrah and Tane, one of their seasons, they became quite close and sort of started this little duo thing. And they were, you know, called Sun Salute, and they toured up the coast. And you know, I kind of was seeing a few posts of Jarrah's and Tane's and stuff, and I was like, hey guys, like I'm in Airlie Beach, heaps of music up here. Come up here, I'll jump in. We'll start a trio. We'll do this, you know, do a bunch of gigs for over the summer. Blah blah blah. So they came up. And that's sort of how the larger Sun Salute sort of started doing stuff, and then Nesta came up, Chris came into the picture, you know, like as I said, John was there for a little bit in the very beginning, and then, you know, John kind of left and Chris sort of took John's place in the sponsorship and in the band, and so we were sort of a 5-piece for a while, and then maybe 6 months to a year after that, Sire came into the fold, and so then we were kind of, you know, 6-7-piece. We would bring saxophone players in and out, and we were doing a whole bunch of festivals. We did the first kind of few years, we'd done heaps of festivals: Happy Days, collaborations, Bush Week, Palm Creek Festival, Woodford, basically just festivals and like a whole bunch of gigs.
I always picture it as a festival band. Like
it really is.
You don't go for like the smaller gigs. Like the smallest gig I think you've done is like, which is still a great gig, is the Pocket Sessions, and that's like...
Well, it wasn't always the way. We did a lot of stuff in Airlie Beach. We'd do Magnums, and we'd do...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Happy Days was the first festival that we did, and that kind of started our festival run, because it's always a lot easier to apply for festivals when you've already got a festival under your belt. And
I saw a musician complaining about festival applications recently, and I was going, it sucks. It sucks. Festival applications suck because they want you to, it's kind of like you need experience to get experience, so it's really hard to get in there. You know, I remember trying to apply for festivals in the UK and everywhere, and it's hard because you just throw in a thing, and you do have to have like somehow make that little connection, or sometimes it's about going to the festival. I don't know, how did you find getting into that thing? Because once you've got it, they go, okay, this person's done this like this is
this industry is a lot about who you know, like, you know, we knew Benny, who runs Mushroom Valley, who you know, so we were doing Sun Salute stuff, we were doing these gigs at Shed Bar, and you know, back when Shed Bar was a thing, and they used to do these amazing sunset sessions where they would have fire twirlers and we would play and Benny would DJ and stuff like that. And then in the early days of Mushroom Valley and Happy Days, because he was doing Mushroom Valley at one time of the year, and then sort of 6 months apart he would do Happy Days, which was more focused on the live music. He was like, man, come and Sun Salute play the Happy Days. So we did the first Happy Days.
Oh, cool.
And then we did the second one, and we did the third one, and we were kind of a regular feature there.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of apply. You just apply for, and you kind of just can't really charge anything for a lot of it. You have to take that sacrifice, because the festival operators are getting, thousands of applications.
Oh,
and they've got probably most of their budget allocated to their headline.
Yeah.
They've pretty much got no budget for anyone else, especially people they haven't heard of.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, well, this band's willing to play for free. They've got some good promo. They've got a good following on socials. It's all about how many tickets can they sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like if you've got 100 followers and you're a band and you don't have much content online, and then the next band that they haven't heard of has got 10,000 followers and they've got a bunch of like footage of them with crowds dancing in front of them, who are they going to give it to, So
because again, it's like you never think about the back end of that, and it's never like, I think a lot of us feel really personally attacked when someone does, like, because we're sensitive artistic creatures that are like, my heart went into this. But then at the same time, you got to look at the back end of people being like, fuck, I've got like, even the bigger festivals would even have more. Like you're talking like, you're going to have hundreds of, I don't know, maybe not 100,000, but like thousands to tens of thousands. Even the emerging tents where you get paid nothing, you barely get a ticket. Like those things, I can understand sitting back without my like artistic lens on, go, fuck, that's a lot of things to go through. And
that's why you kind of like got to capture them quickly, because it's they're skimming, and it's not like they're going to read every single word of your bio and go through it. They're just going to be like, you start your intro off, and if it doesn't capture them, they're going to be like, boring, like it's harsh, but it's true. It's like who are the people that get the most wedding and corporate events on our website? They're the guys with the best videos. An engaging bio is good, but it's not necessary. Good photos, good videos, because the quickest way to get someone's attention is to go, this is what it's going to look like at your event. And if you can do that same thing in a festival application, this is what this is going to look like on the Pineapple stage or the blah 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 stage. If they can visualize it, then you're halfway there.
Exactly.
And like then they go, oh, this looks interesting. Oh, now I'll read their bio. Now I'll see what festivals they've done. Now I'll, but if you don't capture them like that, then you've barely even got a chance.
If you're talking about corporates and weddings, it's like, it's even harsher because it's well, not harsher, but it's much more like you might be dealing with people that don't give it about art or music, and they just be like, can I physically picture this person at my wedding, or can I picture this person at my corporate event? And so like that's why a lot of artists do have separate kind of representation, like yourself included. You have separate things for your corporate and your wedding, and you have your artistic projects that you do that represent
it's like I wouldn't book Sun Salute for a corporate event, even though I know it's a great band and that we can get people dancing. It's not, like you're
not playing Uptown Funk, and you're not going to be like, you could, but why would you?
We could. I mean, look, we have in the past. We've done it. Okay? But like these days as well. Like I'm going to send some red hot corporate band. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's going to get us more business in the future. Whereas. Like Sun Salute is a creative project. It's something. It's a way for us to express our art. And that's different to entertaining a bunch of corporate delegates. It's completely different. It's almost like two different professions.
It actually is.
And like one can be soul destroying. This is one of the things that I think is really interesting, is that people will say, oh, I played this corporate gig and no one listened and no one clapped and it was just soul destroying. And it's like, hey, well, you're making really good money. Like, you know, go and scrape some oysters off the bottom of the ocean. Like, you know, talk about soul destroying, like go and clean some toilets or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good job and it pays well. And like, okay, you just have to figure out how to take your ego and your, you know, creative nourishment out of that job.
Like, you shouldn't be trying to get your nourishment from those gigs.
No, not at all. You should even pub gigs these days. Like
100%.
And probably always.
If you're providing a service, which if you're in a bar and your name isn't bringing in tickets, people are coming to pay you. You could be
They're not
anyone
here to
else.
see you.
They're not here.
They're here to drink, and by proxy, they're seeing you. And if you're doing a great job, they'll have a great time and they'll love you.
Yeah.
But you're not necessarily going to be playing your own original music and getting paddies jumping.
People really want familiarity. They really want to be singing along. Like, they just don't care. And that's okay, because it's not
what they're there for.
And that shouldn't be what you as an artist are there for, because you should be able to, we have to separate those things. You're not nourishing your inner artistic child on a corporate gig or a paddy's gig. You're helping a business do well so that they can see value in your service and then hire you again to do the thing that they're paying you decently for. I kind of like talking to you about doing those more festival things, because having that separation and understanding that you may not take a fee, and you're used to taking quite big fees with bands in corporate events, but understanding that these festivals are, you know, unless they're massive festivals, they're still small festivals taking a small billing, so therefore they're gonna struggle, and it's like a whole thing.
We've actually made more and not that we make a lot from festivals, but we would generally make more from a smaller festival than we would from a big festival. Like, because on a big festival we're a small fish, but on a small festival we're a bigger fish. So we become the headline, and so we take the fee that we charge, that we're like, this is what we're worth, and this is what we charge when we do a headline gig, because you want us and you know we're going to sell the tickets, so we charge this much. But if we're doing Woodford, we're charging, you know, like sometimes nothing. Where sometimes we're like, please give us camping for free, like please feed us, you know.
Can we have a +1?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and like even then going like, oh, we want +1s, going, shit, I hope they don't replace us, you know. Like,
totally.
And you can have the exact same band thinking in those ways, but it just depends on what you're approaching. Any musician, you know, that's going to be a professional musician, especially solo artists, I think, is to really make that separation between what is your creative outlet and what is your job. Because you will destroy your soul if you attach your creative nourishment to a paddy's gig or to a corporate gig or whatever, where you're playing other people's songs, and that's not really what you would do when you pick up a guitar at home. You know, that's not that doesn't represent your musical taste or your musical
well, it's not who I am. I've never gone, you know what I really want to do is play like any pop music ever. I'm like, you know, it wasn't my intention. I came from a different world, and that's not, and I actually love pop music and I love all that stuff. And when I went into these work, I was like, I'm going to learn the songs that people are requesting for me, because I'm not getting my nourishment. Like, even if I was playing songs that I really want to play, when like the worst question that we get is often, just play what you want to play. What do you want to play? And it's like, I want to play like some really obscure like bebop head, and you're not going to like even register what is going on. There's no dancing. There's no words. You probably won't even be able to tap your foot along to it. So like, do you really want me to play?
But that, on the other hand as well, it's kind of like, well, I'm here to do a job, and you're an audience member, which is okay, but you're not paying the bills. And if the publican comes over and I'm playing bebop jazz, like they're going to be like, what are you doing? Like, I'm paying you to entertain these people, not this person, you know. It's
good differentiation.
You do have to like sometimes shut people down in the nicest way, but you do have to go, hey, I've kind of got a job to do here, and that's, you know, maybe it's a good request or whatever, you know. But I can't fulfill all requests, because if I did that, then maybe we would have an empty room.
That's the thing. You're there to fill the room and keep the room, because if they buy more things from the bar or the place that you're playing or the food restaurant, they will make more money, which actually pays you. And if they make more money because they see that it's a boost when you're playing or around that day that you're playing, you actually are adding value to that thing.
Yeah. They see a full dance floor and they see money over the bar and they go, we want that muso again.
Yeah.
You know, and that is success in that environment. You know, you have succeeded as a musician in that environment. Exactly, but that's not necessarily going to give you satisfaction for your soul. So you have to get that in other ways. And I think this is what I think with you know, like festivals and things like that. You mentioned the musician complaining about festival applications, and it's like, you can go to a festival and say, well, this is what we're worth. You know, we're worth this much money and we want to be on your festival bill. But, you know, you will get your soul nourishment from that. And of course, you are worth that money. But if the festival operator doesn't immediately see that, they're not going to want to pay that money, you know? And so you then have to go, I really want this festival because it's going to nourish my soul. Yeah. You know, I'm going to be at the festival. I'm going to see all this amazing music. I'm going to meet a whole bunch of other musicians and probably jam with them in camp and network with people. And, you know, like, you've also got to see those festivals as stepping stones to bigger things. And you can't kind of jump the ladder, you know, like you've got to climb every step. Yeah. And if you think of what are you getting paid for this festival, then you kind of have to take away the monetary value and replace it with the soul value.
It's the hardest thing because you'll constantly come across that, well, you're getting paid in exposure. And it's like, there's different kinds of getting taken advantage of. Like if a pub asked me to play a 3-hour gig and they're like, nah, it's like, it's for you, man. It's your exposure. I'm like, that's not true. This is not true. But if I'm getting put on a bill and my name is then getting, because we are status creatures. So if you start seeing a band's name or an artist's name around on bigger lineups, if you're next to, you know, in Australia, like a Casey Chambers or a Veronica, the daughters, no, what are they called? The Veronica sisters. The status with that, and that in the original scene is useful. It's not saying that you should do that forever, because there's obviously times at some point you need to go like, oh, okay, like I can pull a crowd. If you can pull a crowd and you truly can pull a crowd, then you have a lot of bartering power. Like if you can sell out a 30-person room just by putting your name there and going, I'm going to be in Adelaide next week and I can sell a 30-person room, that's way better. I don't know anyone that can do that. Very, like, at all yet. It's
even harder these days because of, like, there's so much entertainment out there. Like, not even just live music, but, you know, like, you can just go and there's so much to entertain you and distract you and get your attention. So even getting people to see the ad for the gig to then go and buy tickets and be dedicated enough to follow the link and, you know, make the payment and everything like that.
That's it.
Man, it's hard.
Like, I've had so many great experiences with both original music in small rooms. Like, my favorite experiences, and sometimes that happens on a gig, you know, often it was more in like London and weirdly on cruise ships, but it's like that small intimate setting and people are just like with you on a journey and having that storytelling aspect where you play a song, you talk to the crowd, they're engaged with you, you're engaged with them. Yeah. You don't feel like you can do anything wrong. Yeah. I've had enough of those experiences to go, oh, that is true nourishment in the way that we've been talking about. And it has helped me in businessy things because I'm going like, oh, this isn't fulfilling my cup. This is like really draining that cup immediately. Yeah. Things like this, like they're doing these sessions and getting to hang out and play and rehearse and stuff has been like super amazing because it's like, even when I was saying like I'm losing connections with people, this is like a kind of like a selfish way for me to stay connected to people, meet amazing people. And it's actually been extremely joyful for me to rehearse with you and like get inside your songs and stuff. Like I think that you learn, I don't know, it's like you get a perception of someone through their writing or through the way that they perform or the way that you the underlying things that happen during music creation that is hard to explain to people who are talking as a consumer.
Yeah.
I never really understand, like, you know, that's why I don't connect with industry people. They're always like, well, this song isn't really hitting me hard. I'm like, well, have you ever played it?
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced what it's like to be like really in a groove with someone? And like, you know, how we're doing those takes and you're like, I felt a vibe in that one compared to.
It's funny because it's like Benny. Oh, my dog is leaving.
Oh, God.
I just want to see how far she goes. Hang on.
Yeah.
1 second. Maxie!
Just a small dog interruption.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like what Benny was saying before when you know, as he was leaving, he was like, it's funny because you guys were like, oh, was that good? Was that good? And he was like, they're all good, you know. But for us, it was like, oh, number 3 was good and number 4 was good because we could feel the vibe as we were playing it.
Yeah, what is that? Like, what is that feeling? It's like a pocket, but it's not a pocket because like that's a groove specific thing, but it's like there's something.
I think it's just a whole feeling, you know, like there's a connection that happens and, you know, like it's just like the right dynamics and just the right little bits of chords and runs and things like that. It's a whole bunch and whole series of things. It's just a series of moments that it's like everything was just flowing, you know, like it's when there's a good conversation and the conversation just flows, you know, and I was like, that was a really good conversation. I don't know what really the subject matter was exactly that made it so good, but it just felt good because it was easy and everything flowed and there was no kind of awkward moments or interruptions, you know, like
kind of like a good dinner party, like, or a good hang with friends when you're like, man, that night went quickly and it was just like joyful and it filled my cup.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything specific that actually makes it a good take. It's just a feeling that was good, you know, that just felt good and it was some good things happened and some dodgy things happened, but I think overall it was a great take.
For me, that's what irritates me when you're talking to people that don't know that feeling or that experience. They just like speaking to you like the thing that you make is the biggest end product, but actually why I love the idea of music being something that everyone does in whatever capacity and the process of creating and feeling music. And that's why people usually have to jump over the gap of like becoming a beginner because is she gone again?
Yeah. I mean, she's just checking things out. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying that jumping the gap between a beginner to at least a player that can interact with someone else. And I don't know, it's kind of like, this is a weird analogy, but it's like the argument about consciousness when it arises in like matter. Does it arise from the beginning? Like, is it innate in matter or is it something that you need to have arise after a very complex sense of things? So like, it's hard to explain to a beginner that no, you just keep practicing because there's this point that the process starts feeling amazing if you get into this specific nourishing place. You know? Yeah.
The whole playing with other musicians is like, it's quite a magical thing, you know, like there's something happens, like for example, you know, that first song that we played, Questions, you know, was like, as I said before, it was unfinished before we started working on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes all you need is just to play it with someone else, you know, and somehow that thing becomes complete. And, you know, that was a 15-year-old song, you know what I mean? Like, and it's remained unfinished for that amount of time. And then to me, it feels finished. You know, if I was to re-record it, that's how I would do it.
You've tagged it.
Yeah,
like, not tagged it, but like...
Yeah, it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end now.
Yeah,
you know, whereas before it had a beginning, a middle, and then it was just faded out, you know, because it was just never finished.
Yeah.
So I think the practice of sharing really is where things can become complete. You know, it's like an idea doesn't become physical until you write it down or you speak it into existence, you know, and that kind of comes back to like the whole manifestation thing. But when it comes to music, you know, I think that, you know, you can have ideas and things like that, but sometimes those things are meant to be shared, you know, like even in a solo sense, like I've been doing my own solo music for so long and I've gotten stuck on so many songs and whenever I've brought those songs to a band situation or to just with another musician there, especially people that I don't normally play with.
Yeah.
Those songs will find their true form and actually it's like, oh, this is what this song was meant to be. You know, and it wasn't able to be, I was only able to take it, to bring it into this world as an idea.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't able to fully form it as a song and make it what it was actually supposed to be. That song was meant to be shared.
Yeah. It's like a missing puzzle piece or a missing ingredient that like maybe it would be you could finish that idea maybe in 5 years with like you've found a new ingredient in your life, or it can be another person, or it can be another situation or another place.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it relates to everything. I think that, you know, like sometimes when you gatekeep stuff, you know, like when you just keep stuff for yourself, maybe you don't ask for help or you don't, you know, like once you kind of share it out into the world and you kind of allow people to put their flavor and their opinions or their thoughts or their ideas, then that can be really beneficial. But if you hang on to this stuff and be really protective, then sometimes you're not allowing that thing to grow.
Yeah, you're kind of stifling the idea.
Yeah, totally. True. Absolutely.
Do you have anything of why you picked this one, or?
I just like the song.
Yeah.
I love LAB.
Yeah, they're great.
I just like this song in particular. It's one of those songs that's just 4 chords all the way through.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like special about the song writing. I guess. I don't know, in a way. Super simple, but just a great song, you know.
So it's like a confusing form to me a little bit. It's more like one of those old long forms where it's like the whole form is kind of repeated twice, like as opposed to, and then those are chunked into sections in my head, not like pre-chorus, this, because it kind of, the melody blurs kind of into one big long thing to me.
Actually, this song did help me through a tough time. It was like one of those songs that you listen to when you're going through something.
Yeah.
At one point in time, it was like I would just listen to this song like every day.
Yep.
I just love the song. It's a great song.
Let's do it. Let's do a pancake.
3, 4. I can feel her attitude has got him going in the mood. She couldn't really understand it, and now I know how he demands it. Taking note of everything, be your man with a diamond ring. Don't know if he can even handle his love. Bear in mind the things that he gave her, caught inside a jail with a curfew, and I know he took it away. Yes, I know. I know he took it away. See, now I can make a change in an hour, and I know that your breath is gone sour. Yes, I know, no, yeah, I know. And I know he can take control and devour, so you gotta take the reins with the power. Yes, I know, no, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll take it away. She's got him going in the mood. She can barely see. Oh yeah, taking note of everything. To your man with a diamond ring. Ooh, take it away. Yeah, bear in mind the things that he gave her, caught inside a jail with a curfew. And I know That was the one.
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely the best one.
Yeah. Nice. Take.
Cool. Take
Was
4.
Fuck yeah. Oh, nice one. Fucking A.
Cool.
Good work, guys.
Good sesh.
That was a good hustle.
Do you plan to like do other like recap sessions where you come back around to the same musicians and stuff?
It's kind of the plan.
I'd love to do this
100%.
again.
Well, I think some of the plans is to do. I think I want to do like a bit of like MDing a session where I get 2 or 3 people together and I go, we're going to play these songs, whether it's someone else's originals or something that I've written or like a covers thing, and then be like, this is kind of how we're going to do it, and then let people put their personality into that and then let them expand. Obviously that just takes a bit more organization. So just in the beginning, I'm just going, I really want to connect with people one-on-one, get the technical difficulties out of the way and just get it flowing where I really know how these sessions work. Because I don't want to waste everyone's time and then have lost the footage because I don't have enough hard drive space or something stupid.
Yeah.
But these have been, I think, really beneficial to show what the intention is and stuff. So, and I would like to circle back around, like whether it's in like a year or 2 years or whatever it is, but my goal is to really expand it into not just these areas, but I would like to go into other communities. Like I'm trying to get, apply for grants and stuff like that to go to, Mackay. But hopefully I want this to sustain itself. So the ultimate goal is to have, do the normal podcast thing of hopefully having sponsors, and direct people to are into it enough to want to contribute. But I'm also like, like the whole thing of like, I like this anyway, so I'm going to try and make it work no matter what. Yeah. In whatever capacity. But if it can grow, that's where I see it going, is like me exporting, and then it's like these are evergreen things that people, hopefully, if we get, different people that have a different network, they can come and meet people from Airlie Beach's network. And then we are kind of creating a bit of a renegade connection between the scenes that we don't always get. So that's, I really love the idea of that. But at the same time, making sure that, because I could have just done a podcast where we talk, and that's fine. But why would I not want to, for me, collaboration and that thing that I'm talking about often is lost in the live setting. I think like if sometimes you can do a 30-person gig where no one turns up to that 30-person gig, and it's like you put all this energy into it. And I've done enough of those, and I really wanted to put it into something that I could share more broadly, and that I could compact down and take with me wherever I go. And for me, it's also like connecting to a deeper network that I'm like, everyone has this network. You've got people that you're connected to that connect to the biggest people in the industry. And I've got people that I've come in contact with that connect to the biggest people, perceived biggest people in the industry. And to me, I see so many amazingly talented people in my sphere, and I'm like, there's just no platform that I agree with or like think that they're sharing their true self on. Like we're taught about PR, and you just bullshit your way through like interviews on the radio, all that stuff. And I just wanted a space to like collaborate with someone, because as I said, you get to know someone really well when you work with them.
But it's also such a good platform, like to sort of see the grassroots of the music industry.
Exactly.
And start here in the Whitsundays, one of the best industries in the country.
It's a crazy place.
Like one of the best scenes, like this tiny little concentrated bubble of like intense music culture. Sustaining, like 15 to 20 full-time musicians that are all gigging their asses off.
That's not including people that come and go. Like you're talking about like an extension to 30 to 100 people minimum.
One of the stats that I love to throw out, and we'll wrap it up.
Oh no, I'm hoping that these are
the SD cards are going to last.
We
we could record for hours. Like, I know, every single time we talk, it's like, when do we stop? But
no, I appreciate you taking the time.
But, dude, it's my pleasure. And I want to thank you too for this, what you're doing. Like, because to me, it seems very much like this whole thing that we were talking about with, you know, Mead and Hamo and all this sort of stuff is like you're kind of seeing, you're just taking the leap, knowing that the net will appear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe not even knowing that it will, but just having faith that it will.
Yeah.
And I truly believe it will, because you're putting all of your time and your energy into it, and you're doing such an amazing job.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's beautiful to see. And this, to me, it reminds me of something. There's a guy in, you know, my hometown music scene back when I was growing up, and he used to put on festivals and start like musical TV shows and things like that. Like, and I always admired that. So like, I love what you're doing. And the thing about Airlie Beach is like, I love throwing out this stat, is that if you look at the main street, what's the main street? About 400 meters, 500 meters, something like that. Yeah. So within 500 meters, you've got Paddy's, 7 nights a week, live music, not including the 2 band gigs. So let's just take them out of it. Beaches, 5 nights a week. Magnums, 7 days a week. Take away all the extras, which there's numerous. KC's 7 nights a week. Paradiso is what?
7 nights a week.
7 nights a week.
Yep. Airlie Beach Hotel.
Airlie Beach Hotel. Bodie's.
Yep.
Did I say that already?
No.
They're 5 nights or 6 nights a week.
Lola's.
Are they 7 nights?
They're 3 nights. 3 or 2. Depending on,
but I mean, not even including a whole bunch of venues.
We're just forgetting venues.
This is like just in that 500 meters, right?
Yeah.
You've got however much. What's 7 times 7?
Oh God, 49.
49.
I mean, 49. We count to 4 really well. It's fine.
Even if we're wrong, let's round it down to 40.
Yeah.
Okay, so 40 gigs a week.
Yeah.
So the 7 gigs on a Monday night.
Yeah.
7 gigs on a Tuesday night. 7 gigs on a Wednesday night.
Five.
You know what I mean? 40 gigs a week.
That's insane.
And that's not including Lola's, not including Sorrento's, not including Cape Gloucester, not including the 24 gigs on Hamilton Island.
Yeah.
The 5 gigs a week on Daydream, the 6 gigs a week on Hayman.
Yeah.
Or like the 350 events or whatever that
all the extras.
You know.
And with Sailing Club, there's so many.
Sailing Club, Alimenta,
Anchor
Bar.
The piano bar that we like only has a few gigs, but it's okay.
Piano bar, the Reef Gateway do gigs.
Reef Gateway.
Like Dingo Beach Hotel. Northerlies.
There's just so many. When you put it like that, because I remember talking to someone who was doing the regional something for his PhD.
Yes.
And it's like he gave me a map and was like, "Can you just show me?" And I was just like, "We need to blow up this map a little bit so I can actually get in there."
Yeah,
Even the ones that pop up because they see that there's music happening and they see that we're a music town. Like I see gigs come and go. They maybe don't have the right intuition about why they're putting on gigs and stuff. So that's I think when people fall off gigs as a venue is because they don't understand how it relates to them and their intention and stuff. But that's such a good start.
Breeze Bar as well.
Breeze Bar. Colonial Palms. Everywhere.
Jubilee Tavern.
I forgot about that one.
Then you got Proserpine as well.
And there's like this, and there's Big Four. There's like all the extra little ones.
All these other little ones. Yeah, there's some of the caravan parks. The caravan as well.
We're lucky. We're lucky to be in a place that does that. But I think it also helps to have. It's kind of like you show a way and people follow. So I think that it is a music town because music begets more music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's always been that as well. Like live music has always been a part of Airlie Beach. And it's always been, it's like, it just has to be there. For some reason, it just has to be there. It's one of those towns.
Yeah.
And I don't quite know what it is. Obviously, it's tied into the tourism, but it's, I mean, it's on steroids, you know, there are tourism towns that are just as big as the Whitsundays and bigger.
Don't do the same thing.
But it's just not the same.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't find it anywhere else, you know, like
it's true.
The only thing I could have likened it to would be the snowfield, like Falls Creek in the winter.
Yeah.
Probably 15 years ago when I was, you know, I was doing I did 2 weeks. What was it? It was like 25 gigs in 14 days. And there was another muso there that did the same amount.
Shit.
We would get together at the start of the season and we would go, all right, I've got this gig, this gig, this gig, this gig. And we'd just lay them all out and go, right, you do that, I'll do this, and like figure out how to get them all done.
Yeah.
And, but Airlie Beach is like that all year round. Falls Creek was only winter time.
Like our downtimes are when, you know, is like now, January, February.
Yeah.
And then it starts, every influx is like, it comes up every few weeks. There's an influx and an outflux, and it's...
But isn't it funny though? This is our downtime, but still, Birdie's 5 nights a week, Paddy's 7 nights a week. You know,
minimum.
You know,
a day.
It's still mental.
7 times. Yeah.
So
whatever the math is, it's that.
We're not math. We're musicians, not mathematicians.
That explains my tax situation.
Let's not talk about that. That's a good time to end it.
Yeah. No. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you.
That is the end of the session. Thank you so much for being here. The fact that you've made it to the end means the world to me. It's crazy. I love long podcasts. I love long form, and this is probably the longest one yet. So if you have managed to get to the end of this, please let me know, because that would, I don't know, like do a squirrel, some kind of secret thing that only if you get to the end of the podcast would you know. Anyway, I'll see you in a few weeks, and it might be before Bubs, it might not be before Bubs. Just keep a track, and I'll be posting in all the places. Share this with your friends, and thank you so much. Bye.